Market research. Why market research?
Because the quality and quantity.
So do you think it needs more of your creative side or your practical side?
I buy a product. This is a product that I buy. So
you would be doing everything on your own, in the sense that
I faced show cause notices. I went and did a panchnama.
people are not accepting you as a leader or as a person.
People aspects. I learned Telugu to be able to communicate to my people.
At least, save that 20% of the time and come back and say, I'm done with the report.
In India, the parent has to approve organization is good enough for them.
Good morning, everyone. We are back again with another coffee chat, another conversation with one more persona here who has been into the journey right from market research to handling everything in a manufacturing business. Let's understand what are the nuances of handling it single-handedly or along with partners, or handling the team, or handling the manufacturing operations. How is it to actually take care of everything at any point of time? Let us welcome Mrs. Shobha Dixit. She has an experience of 4 decades. She's been a founder and owner of a manufacturing company. She has been director. She's been handling different facets, different areas. Her professional zone is quite wide, where she has handled corporate affairs, the operations per se, the audits, the government licensing for the company, the external communications. So this is a Austrian company, ALPLA, and this has been existing for 18 long years, where she has been into the journey. Let's understand how different ways of leading a team can be. Welcome, Shobha ji, on our conversation. Welcome so much.
Thank you, Sachi. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast. This is my first podcast, let me tell you that. As far as my work goes, it's been a fantastic journey in all these years, and I'm happy to say after 40 years, I still haven't lost my enthusiasm. I love coming to work.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Let me start from where you started, where market research. Why market research, and what prompted you to come into being an entrepreneur?
So when I was still doing my graduation in Mumbai, I came across this gentleman who was doing who was a operations research PhD, and he had a small organization called Market Maths, and he wanted somebody to assist him, and I just landed up being with him, and it was just the two of us. The good thing was he was a PhD in operations research, and I was his only working person with him, and I got to learn a lot of things. So the rest of the people were interns whom we used to hire, and I just learned so much in that 6 to 8 months, or almost a year, I think, that I worked with him. And then I got married and I came to Hyderabad, and my husband had just started this business after coming back from his MBA in the US, and it was very natural for me to just join his company. And that's where it started, the entrepreneurial journey of mine.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what has been your, first love in terms of this manufacturing stint? How you, come to that being that, yes, this I will do?
So the first time when I came in after getting married and I went to the factory and I saw, oh my God, there is so many components being made. I used to just buy a product. I buy a product. This is a product that I buy. So I see one bottle. But when you go to the factory, you see so many bottles and you see so many caps. And you wonder, why did I not think that there could be so many bottles and so many caps? And so we are in the business of injection molding, and currently, and that's what we were in at that time as well, before ALPLA came in. My husband with 2 cousins had started a company called Yodeva, Yogesh, Devesh and Vagish. 3 cousins had started this. And the sheer numbers was very exciting. And also the shop floor, the action on the shop floor, the machinery, and, to see people making things. I think I just enjoyed that a lot.
Did it give you the sense of productivity kind of thing? What fascinated you?
Yes, absolutely. That's it, the action. the thing that at the end of so many hours you've made so many things. I think I love it even today. That's what gives me the energy to go to the shop floor. It's wonderful.
Wow. So you get inspired being on the shop floor, seeing that and how the things are made. Wow. So people draw inspirations from different things, you know. That's where you.
More inspiration, I would say it's very exciting to see, and also the how you can improve on the same thing every day. You know what you did yesterday, the machine may be same, but you can do some modifications to it. You can make some modifications to the molds. You can make some modification to the material, to the manufacturing process, to the energy inputs, to the water cooling, to so many aspects of it, to the packaging, to the way it is transported. It's a complete circle which you need to be always alert to, and that's what is so operation excellence. I call it operation excellence, right? So that's something that is very very exciting.
So do you think, it needs more of your creative side or your practical side to be into this manufacturing state?
I think you need to be very alert. You need to be very alert, and it's neither practical nor creative. It is about being a good coordinator, being alert to all the different aspects, the moving parts in the dynamics of an entrepreneur. Things keep changing, and you need to be alert to all of it. There are lots of moving parts, and you need to keep them all, like an orchestra. It's all comes together, and then the dispatch happens, and then the bill comes in, and then that's when you have a full cycle.
Okay. So if you may have to describe, the highest point where you found that, this is where I always wanted to be, and this is what I always wanted to do. The one process or one thing which really, really fascinates you to be there into this manufacturing part or doing what you're doing right now. What is that?
I'll go backwards, right from 2004 to 2009. 1994 to 2004, I was running a contract manufacturing plant, and that I was running independently for Rickett Benkaiser. It used to be called Rickett Coleman, and then got on to becoming Rickett Benkaiser during those days. And we were making Robin Blue powder for them. This is a fabric whitener, Robin Blue powder, and this was a total greenfield project. And right from putting up the iron I beams, to setting up the distance between the machines, the number of machines, the vibrator, the size of the motor. And I'm not an engineer, but I learned so much about the gears and the gearbox and the sprockets and the number of teeth and the wheels and the vibratory motors and everything. And it was so interesting for me. I think by the end of those 10 years, I definitely became half an engineer at least. And when I used to talk, they used to think I was an engineer, but I was not, because it's just the sheer number of hours that you spend on the shop floor and understand the processes and put your logic together to solve issues. That's what, and that was very, very exciting. And that's not just the manufacturing aspect of it, since I was single handedly running the show. There was also something called excise in those days. It was completely, even the E of excise, I did not know. I had to read the book, I had to understand. I faced show cause notices. I went and did a panchnama, which was a 5-hour hearing. It's actually like a court of law. You have to go in front of the excise inspector and the excise officer, and you have to put your thumb, you have to, whole palm is put into the ink on all the pages, and whatever you say, they write it down. So it's like a document that by it's a legal code of law. So you say, and then of course we were truthful and we knew what we were doing, so there was no question of hiding anything. It was just about writing out, speaking out whatever you do actually, because there was a hearing on some case on a larger issue actually. But it was, I'm happy that I was left to do it on my own. Though the business was sort of helped by my husband to set up, but running it was totally my own, and he would not, run it for me until I was probably totally sinking. So, and even then, it was more in terms of brainstorming or giving me some ideas on how to do things. So I learned a lot, and this excise was something I learned. Accounts was okay. I was from commerce background, so accounts was okay. Putting the whole entrepreneurial bit, the entity, making it a profitable, understanding costings, understanding what are the variables in an organization. Is it manpower? Is it electricity? Is it material? Is it transport? What is it that is creating the profit or loss for you, and how you can make it better month on month, week on week, year on year, day on day? People aspects. I learned Telugu to be able to communicate to my people. And I remember in those days there was no. There used to be checks that we used to hand over to our people. It was not direct transfer to bank accounts. Sometimes they didn't have bank accounts. We used to hand over the the cash payment. And I used to talk to each employee, able to hand over the payment to them and talk to them. We had about 180 employees in those days, and a short little 1 minute sentence, so how come you're getting less this month? Because you had taken a loan, you've deducted this. Why did you the loan? Because somebody was sick, you had to take it. How is that person now? So when the owner asks these questions, the kind of rapport you have helps you, to build that bond between you, and they also are very appreciative of how you treat them.
So tell me one thing. It was a family-driven business. So what would it be different if you would have done something on your own? Is it that you are more towards, okay, at least this much support I had, but what if you would be doing everything on your own, in the sense that knowing that you have to handle everything by yourself?
So I was doing everything on my own. But yes, somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew that I have a support. That did help for sure. The boldness that, I can take this wrong decision. We'll probably cover it up in some other way later on. Maybe help me to take that bold decision. I have to be honest about it. Um, but then as I made some decisions and things went right, I didn't have to keep going back to ask, is this okay or not okay? So the decision level is kept improving through the years.
And did you ever think that, oh my goodness, this is something which I could have done it better, or I did not take the right decision, or something which you regretted that you decided and not others?
So when I was running these contract manufacturing organizations on my own, let me tell you, there was also another organization in Calcutta which I was running for Johnson and Johnson, that was making stay-free secure napkins for Johnson and Johnson. So that was also completely independent, and there what happened was. My father-in-law used to live in Calcutta, but they moved to live with us in Hyderabad. So there was nobody to run it. So I used to go from here, stay for a week or 10 days, run the show, come back. We had a general manager, but then I had to keep going there as an owner and take all the decisions about. So Johnson's. So when we work with the multinationals like either Johnson's or Ricket Benkaiser, they also help you to run uh, the unit, because they want us to succeed as much as because their success depends on our success. And it is we need to understand that we need to follow all the SOPs that are required by these multinational organizations, because the quality and quantity, that is on time in full, or OTIF is what we call it, is extremely important for them. So if we do not give them the product on time, they have lost the market share. And they just can't afford to do something like that. And if you have the maturity as an owner to give them that commitment and follow what they want, then you are successful. So these are the takeaways from my so many years of dealing with multinational companies. Their quality systems teaches you enormous amount of hygiene practices, good manufacturing practices, which we have taken from one company to the other as we expand. How the workers need to, have a good hygiene in the shop floor. What do they bring with them? Are they allowed to bring gudka, pan, all these things? It's a hygiene, like the Stay Free Secure is like a medical product. environment. So there's a lot of screening of the individual before they come into the shop floor itself. There is a air curtain which they have to go through, which removes all the dust particles.
Yeah. I've been through that sometimes, and now I know that there's so much of process around it to know how that is
SOP, there's a
optimized.
quality document, there is an SOP, and that has to be followed. We do have to pass the SEDEX, we have to pass all the quality audits. So,
Tell me one thing, if since we are discussing on these, very less, women, they get fascinated by the manufacturing side of the industry. And since you have been part of it, very few of them really talk so passionately about the manufacturing side and how, they are still enthusiastic about it, which already you shared. Was it any time that being a woman came in the way where, you thought that, oh, people are not accepting you as a leader or as a person of authority, or there is something which could have been different if you would not have been a woman, or you would have been of this, or this was headed by a male?
so let me say in two, 3 points. One is that I was always there. My presence was not decorative. I was there on the shop floor and less in the office table. And my office table was always in the factory. So it was not like I had a city office and then a factory office or something like that. And even when I was in the factory, my time was more in the shop floor than in the office. This was also a learning from my a colleague from Ricketts. So he was like a brother to me, and he's the one, because that was one of the first units that I started on my own with for Ricketts. He told me that all your action and everything that you're going to get as far as results are concerned is in your shop floor. So the more time you spend there, you will learn more. You will not get take, and somebody else will not take you for a ride. You see the action. You can just with your simple brain application of logic, you will understand that the shop floor should have been like this. This should have been the flow. This is where it was getting stuck. What happened in the last 1 hour could have been shortened probably, or there could have been more productivity in that last 1 hour by walking through, the time and motion study and all of that gives to better productivity. So that's where I think the excellence addiction came in, because the multinational company puts that pressure on you to give us the deliverables of OTIF. Have you achieved it or not? If we have not achieved it, then we don't make the mark. They have lost the business. Some other brand is going to be picked up from the shelf. They explain that to us in such detail that it was a target. Okay, if it's 600, then we should make it at least 610. Then we have done what they wanted. So every
Very true. And this is also a very important part of efficiency management. They say that if you have taken some time to finish a report, you should at least save that 20% of the time and come back and say, I'm done with the report. And then you've been really efficient working on the report. And if you need something to do about you have not followed, you need help, then you should be coming well before time, instead of saying at the end of the report time that this is what I did not understand, that is the reason the report was not done. The principles of efficiency management are very, very truly applied in manufacturing concerns, where truly not just the quality but the time is taken into consideration.
As even in communication, that's what I tell my team, that if you are not able to do something, you're not supposed to tell them one night before that you're not able to do it. Please send an email 1 week before that I don't understand what your question means, or that you need more time for this because of this reason, or that you are busy with something else and will not be able to meet it, but well in advance. Don't just hide behind something and one day before say that, sorry, I'm not able to deliver. That reflects very poorly on whether that customer is your internal customer within the organization, or the customer who's going to get your goods or whatever services or whatever it may be. So I do run internal communication classes also for our team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing I enjoy, people behaviors and attitudes, and how leadership needs to, managing self is a favorite topic of mine. And I have put in something on the Indian Women Network site as well, on my leadership lessons on how managing self is so important for every leader.
Yeah, I know you have been actively involved in a lot of, associations, lot of work which has been done for cause. Um, Tell me something about, and in some causes which are very close to your heart, which you have worked for.
So I believe that manufacturing itself is a great entrepreneurship itself is a great opportunity to provide employment. With every employment that you provide, there's at least four other people whose lives are being touched, and how you can better their lives to a next level of next economic level, you can say, and provide them a better life. So that itself is step one. Step two is within that, are you giving them a happy place to work? Not just a place to work, but a happy place to work. So that's something that I really talk about. I do a lot of behavioral trainings for people at the shop floor level also. And my recommendation, not just for shop floor, but for the entire management, or for all our people, is that we are making bottles and caps. Can we keep it that we don't shoot each other for that? Let's keep a happy environment and talk to each other and have some fun times. The journey is more important, and the relationships are more important, and how we address each other on a daily basis is extremely important, so that we're not stressed out, so that we're not fighting with blood pressure and diabetes and heart attacks in this journey of making bottles and caps. That's not required. So if you are good in that managing self, that again I come back to that, if you are able to manage your work and your time and your priorities and what you're good at, and keep expanding what you're good at, and then it becomes a large circle of how what you're good at becomes more than what you're not good at. The 2080, how the mind tends to think towards the 20 rather than towards the 80. So I feel that one needs to focus more on the good and more on your capabilities, more on the 80% of what you do well, so that you become experts in that area and expand your area of
Very
opportunity.
true. And I think one thing which I also agree with you is that, one, that people see how we behave, how we, interact, how we come back to them with our responses. And that is the biggest teacher, in a place where you are leading a team. Because are they really inspired to follow you? Are they really inspired to be there? And with that, I also have one more question in mind: is, did you ever think that your team would not take you as an authority? Did you ever think then you had to struggle for creating that authority anytime in life?
Um, so I think the first step, like I said, was by being present. When you're present, you know your subject.
Mm,
When you know the subject, then people are coming to you for answers. If you don't know your subject, then they will reach out to somebody else or take decisions which are bypassing you, or
mm,
you are kept in the dark about some decisions and you get to know about things much later. But like I said, when you're there, when you're present, when you're in the shop floor, you know what is happening, you know your accounts, you know your production. There's not much that people can hide, and that's when the authority comes from.
mm,
So do you command authority or do you demand authority?
mm,
So if you are in a good space, then you will automatically command that authority. How you behave with them, they will behave with you. If you demean people, then it will come back to you in some other form.
so
If you
true.
are appreciative of even the small things that they do, it will come back to you as well.
Absolutely. And I completely agree with you on one of the points where you said that, do you really deserve to have that respect? Are you commanding that respect, or are you demanding that respect? And that is where, your authority would be created just by the sheer knowledge of people, aware that you are there to help, them. And that is what will, matter it for them.
Also, in a large meeting, to be heard, you don't have to be loud. You don't have to be shouting. Especially when there are lots of men in a large table, there's sometimes voices get raised a lot, and I have at times said in a meeting, "Can we stop? I don't like the tone of this meeting. Let's have a relook and restart. We are discussing out here. We are not supposed to be. We are a team. We are supposed to take the organization forward and build it. We're not supposed to be putting one down for the other." So I have actually stopped the meeting and said, "No, sorry, I don't like the tone of this meeting."
So nice. And actually, that is one way to, say and set right that, let's begin again.
Yeah.
Very true. One more thing which I have in mind, being a woman and taking the work and the life, all of those facets together. Did you ever feel that you were proficient in work-life balance, and how was your way of handling the work-life balance? And was there anything that you could share that we could learn from?
So the biggest advantage is that I was an entrepreneur. So that gave me a lot of flexibility. I don't have to punch my time, but that also means that I can stay up till 11:30 at night when there is a new machine that's being installed and I want to see the production, or I can come back in the evening to see how the day ran and watch it for another couple of hours when the stabilization is going on in a new process. So both of it happens because I'm an entrepreneur. In those days, when I started early in 94 and 2004, there wasn't so much of internet and WhatsApp and all of that. The communication wasn't so easy. Computers had just come and it was far and in between. So yes, emails were there. We used to get the Excel sheets. It just had started at about, I think, maybe 2001 or so. So those problems were there, but phones were there. And contract manufacturing is an area where we have repeat activities. So once you've stabilized, it keeps running in the same way unless there is a new line. So if there is a line that has been set up, then it goes running in the same way. So that's where my advantage was as far as work-life balance goes. But I did work hard. Those were also the days when I was making a new home and the children were small in UKG and class 2 or 3. So I used to drop them to school and then come to the house where it was being built, stay there for an hour, and then go to the factory. Factory was in those days near Gandhinagar, Balanagar area. And used to stay there till 2 o'clock, and then come back home. The kids would come around 3:30. So I used to try to time myself that I'm back home at the same time, and then sit with them. And then when they go to play around 5:30, I used to make more calls to the factory to see what was going on. So I think being an entrepreneur is a very good thing for a woman. It gives you a lot of flexibility and enables you to achieve a lot. But your responsibility, because you've invested your money, you know what you want out of it, and you will do what you have to do, but may not be in those punching times that are there for a corporate woman. Having said that, today for a corporate woman, there are also other opportunities of daycares and creches and help available and camera systems where you know that your child is being taken care of in a safe environment.
Do you have all of the people working under your organization as in one gender, or you have women as well?
We have women as well. In fact, during COVID, we set up a new factory in Silvassa where we made a very strong intention that we will try to make this at least 50% women. We hired about 30 Polytech engineers to work in the shop floor. Some of those women have now become managers over the last 3-4 years now, yeah. So as we see efficiency, we also enable them to take on more responsibility. So that has been a great initiative. And how did we do that during COVID? We did Teams interviews. About 10 women on the screen and very young women because they're in Polytechnic, 17, 18. So we had to interview them. We had to also call two people onto one screen, their parent, because in India the parent has to approve that this organization is good enough for them. So we spoke to them, me, my HR vice president, my fellow director, my husband. We all spoke to them and explained what is Austria. We showed them the video of the ALPLA Austria organization. We showed them how our factories are here and what's the environment in which they'll be working and what are the kind of commitments we're giving them, what's the kind of safe environment we'll be creating. All of that we explained to them, got their buy-in, and then it was a very, very humbling experience to see where are they coming from and where are they now today.
Great. So, what has been your, if I may ask you, one inspiration in life?
People.
People.
The ability to touch people's lives is the most impactful thing that we can do as entrepreneurs.
But
Even
as an individual, as an individual,
as an individual, because I'm an entrepreneur, I am able to do it. Even if you sell your organization, I believe you should continue to do something that is making impact for other people's lives, because you will have a lot of money with you. And then if you invest it into something, you're an investor. But if you're running it, then you have the capability to touch people's lives, to make a difference. So when I started my CSR program, it was not yet mandatory for us to do CSR, and we were still not making profit. I used to belong to an organization called Roundtable and Ladies Circle. I went on to become the national president of Ladies Circle of India. So this sort of instilled in me the charity and good work that you can do for people. And then I said, okay, so what do? I don't have money, but I would like to do something good for my people. So I started doing blood donation camps in all the factories. So, of course, only those who are healthy can donate. But those who did donate, we had about 75 people donating in different each unit. We have 9 units across India. And the feeling of those who could donate was so good. And those who could not wanted to rectify their iron or wanted to rectify their sugar levels so that the next year they can donate. So that was a winner in that way also, that people wanted to correct their health parameters so that they are also a donor the next year.
wonderful, wonderful. That's so, so nice to hear. If I may have, your one message, which could be for, our people who are listening to you, women who are inspired to become, an entrepreneur, women who want to actually create their careers into manufacturing field, what would the message be?
I would say be fearless, enjoy the journey, be there on the shop floor. That's your place. Stand strong. There will be people who want to throw you down, but stand strong with your feet firmly on the ground. Keep yourself healthy. You need a lot of stamina to be able to stand for 10 hours on the shop floor. It's not an easy thing. If you're into sports, or if you're into some kind of a healthy activity that will help you to and that goes for both men and women across the gender. Being in the manufacturing, you need to be very healthy and strong to beat the number of hours that you have to work. We have a dual education program right now in our Pasha Mailaram factory. That is an apprenticeship program which is very intense. And 2 years back, we decided to make that also diverse. And we, out of 11, we decided to take at least 4 in each batch who were girls. And this is my interview question to them. Do you have the strength? Are you into sports? If you are not, if, you're not the best in your education, that's okay. We will train you. We will teach you. We will help you to
Should
pass
be
your
high end energy.
we will help you to pass your exams. That's not a problem. We'll teach you trainers. All that's possible. But you need to be healthy. You need to be looking after your health. You can't say no. I can't. Stand there. Stamina is very important.
Wonderful. Very nice talking to you, Shobhaji. It's been a fabulous journey for you, and it's been a fabulous conversation for us to know how, a woman can actually think so enthusiastically about manufacturing and, enjoy every moment, every process out there to make a difference, and along with that, make a difference in people's lives as well. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for reaching out to me. It's been a pleasure talking as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.